What's up guys, it's your boy Christian aka C Money RN. Welcome to a new episode. If you haven't yet, please hit that subscribe button and join the C Money fam. Alright, let's go right into it. So this week guys is a monumental week, and I'm talking 8 years in the making. Ever since I came out of high school, I knew what I was getting myself into, and I've accumulated this enormous student loan debt. Well, this week I can proudly say it has finally been paid off guys. I am super excited. I am just beyond relieved right now. A huge weight has been lifted off my shoulders, and I'm just so happy it's been finally paid off. And I wanted to talk to you guys on how exactly step by step I did it. I'm gonna start from the very beginning, right when I graduated high school. So here it is. When I graduated high school, I knew exactly what I was getting myself into. I knew that nursing or even the medical route would be an expensive route because the education, the cost of it, it's a lot. In order to get that type of education, it's a big investment. And I knew what I was getting myself into, and I weighed the pros and cons of becoming a doctor versus a nurse. And I knew right away I wanted to become a nurse because I wanted that bedside care. I wanted that communication with the patients. I wanted to be able to spend time with them. So I went that route, which ended up being the cheaper alternative, but yet it still was a lot of money. So since I graduated high school, I pursued the pre-nursing route. I've been collecting student loans after student loans after student loans. And that's something I wanted to talk to you guys about. If you don't have the money to afford school and taking student loans, I don't want you to be ashamed about it. You know, you're borrowing this money with the intent that you're gonna pay it back right after you graduate, in which I did. So I took all these loans knowing that I didn't have enough money to pay it off on my own, and I didn't want to keep knocking on my parents' door for money because I'm not about that. I don't like asking for handouts. I want to earn every little bit of money I can possibly get. So even coming out of high school, I was always working a job. So working a job, I started off working at a salad bar at the first school I went to. I worked as a server for a couple of years, pulling in tips. And even during nursing school, I transitioned into a different role in which I adopted a course assistant position in which I got to help students like myself with understanding content in nursing. So even throughout the process of school, I was always working a job, and I was able to somehow balance the time into studying for nursing school at the same time also working part-time and full-time with a job. So I was building up money during the whole process, and during that time I was also putting some of that money into the student loan funds. So just very slowly I've been paying it off very, very slow. And then as soon as I graduated nursing school and I got that job, I knew that I needed to go full steam ahead. Paying off these loans is a big priority because what I didn't realize was all of the interest that I've accumulated throughout the years. And to understand interest, you need to understand the two types of loans, a subsidized and unsubsidized loans. And it took me a while to understand this, and I'm kind of embarrassed. I didn't realize this until recently, but a subsidized loan is interest paid by the education department while you're enrolled at least half time in college, versus an unsubsidized loan. It's when interest begins accruing as soon as the loan is dispersed. So I was under this impression this whole time that with the subsidized loans, I'd just be given all this money, but I don't have to worry about interest, versus the unsubsidized. So right off the gate, as soon as I got the job, I knew I needed to pay off these unsubsidized loans, but little did I know, as soon as I finished school, these subsidized loans began accruing interest, and I'm talking like thousands of dollars of interest, and I wasn't about that. I didn't want this interest to keep accumulating. I didn't want to drown in all this money, so I decided I was gonna pay off this as soon as I can. So the timetable from when I got my job until now, I was able to put aside at least $1,000 a month into my savings, and I began just building and building and building it up. In addition to that, I was picking up overtime hours, which adds additional money to the amount that you're making, and so that was helping me a lot. And I guess from October 2018 until now, February, which is the month I decided to pay off my loan in complete full, I was really good about my money. I decided not to eat out as much. I decided to not participate in, big expensive events like concerts and all of that. But, I did manage to find a balance. It's not like I wasn't spending time with friends. It's not like I was not spending time with family. I did have enough money, and when I would get the money that I was paid for my salary, I knew exactly what I wanted to put into. So I put a certain amount into my savings to go towards my loans. I put a certain amount of money into allocate, so for my personal expenses, so I could hang out with friends and family, and I put other money towards my other expenses, the cost of rent, the cost of gas, the cost of my phone bill. All of these piled pile up. But as soon as you kind of break it down and you're able to prioritize, you know, which money needs to go into what factor, you're going to be able to pay off that loan quick. And the more money you put every month that you save up, you're going to be able to pay off that loan really quickly. So I could proudly say that from October 2018 till February 2020, 8 years of accumulated student loan debt had been erased from the history books. And knowing me, you guys, I talked about this in the last episode. I really want to go into nurse practitioner school, and I'm not trying to go into school with a large amount of debt on my shoulders. So I wanted to get that out of the way. So now that's out of the way, I could really focus on my job and also my future plans. I could begin to pick up overtime at work. I can work really hard so I can start saving up for tuition costs. And my goal is I want to be able to also be able to save up money to purchase my very first house. And so I got a lot of big goals, and having this big weight off my shoulders from the previous undergraduate and student loan debt has finally been paid off. I can now focus all my attention on that. So I'm super excited, guys. And if you have any questions on the process, like additional questions I didn't explain enough on how I paid off my student loans, feel free to leave a comment in the comment section. Also, if you have any suggestions for other people on how you paid off your student loans very quickly, please share as well. So at the end of it, guys, it is possible. And when you look into pursuing a medical position, whether it's nursing, PA, or doctor, I'm gonna give you one last piece of advice, guys. Invest in yourself. You know what you're getting yourself into. You know how much it's gonna cost, but you need to have that fundamental belief in your head that you're gonna be able to make that enough money after you graduate when you start the job. And as long as you're good about saving your money and spending your money smart, you're gonna be able to pay it off in X amount of years, X amount of time. You just gotta be hungry, you gotta have the diligence, you gotta have the determination, and I am very confident that any of you guys can pay off your loans as quickly as I did. Thank you guys so much for watching. Take care.
Busting through the bears that try to contain me. Moving on up, making moves and money endlessly. How you think I got this name? C Money, it's my specialty.